former Longhorns are among the more than 300 athletes at the NFL Scouting Combine this weekend. Workouts begin Saturday. Wide receiver Mike Davis finished his Texas career with exactly 200 receptions, putting him fourth on the Longhorns' career list. He had a career-high 8 touchdown grabs last season. Kicker Anthony Farah led the Big 12 in field goal percentage last season, going 20 for 22. Farah became the first consensus All-American place kicker in the history of Texas football in 2013. Jackson Jeffcoat led the Big 12 in sacks with 13 and tackles for loss with 19 last season. The Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year was also the only FBS defensive lineman to lead his team in tackles in 2013. And defensive tackle Chris Whaley, despite coming off season-ending knee surgery, has drawn comparisons to Henry Melton. With that, we will hand it over to the draft expert, Todd McShay.
Of the 4 Longhorns here at the Combine, I think the 2 that have the most to gain are defensive end Jackson Jeffcoat and wide receiver Mike Davis. And for Jeffcoat, production a little bit up and down throughout his career. Some thought he underachieved. Certainly this year we saw flashes of that big playmaking ability, more disruptive, getting up the field, getting after the quarterback, and making a lot more plays. And I think the bottom line is, when you're looking at a defensive end or any pass rusher, there are certain numbers that are more important than others. So for Jeffcoat, to me, I'm looking at the vertical jump, the broad jump, and then the 40-yard dash. The reason why those numbers are most important when you put them all together, they're the explosion numbers, if you will. You can see the lower body power in the vertical jump and the broad jump, and then you can see that speed and explosiveness. You would think the 10-yard split would be a lot more important, but actually if you study the correlation with pass rushers, it ties in more with the 40-yard dash than it does that first 10 yards. So I think if you're Jeffcoat, you've got to have good performances in those jumps and the 40-yard dash, and just show that you have the ability, which you see on tape, and then it really comes down to, for Jeffcoat at the next level, continuing to hone his skills, his craft. He's got to be better with his hands, more consistent transferring speed to power as a pass rusher, but here it's about showing NFL teams and guys in the stands that are studying this and evaluating it that he has that natural ability to develop. Now for Mike Davis at wide receiver, again, a little bit up and down. You'd like to see more intermediate routes in terms of his savvy and his ability to find open holes in zone coverage, doing a better job getting in and out of breaks. But the one thing he can do on tape is get over the top of coverage and make plays down the field. So as a receiver who's got average size, probably check in around 6 foot, 195 pounds in that range, you want to see that Mike Davis has that 4.4 speed, the true ability to get over the top of cornerbacks at the next level. So if Davis runs well, I think we can talk about him somewhere in the middle of day 3. If he doesn't run well, it'll probably hurt his cause, because he's done so much, and really so much relies upon, in his game at least, his ability to get down the field and create that big play.
Well, workouts at the NFL Scouting Combine begin Saturday. First up, tight ends, offensive linemen, and special teams. Mike Davis and the wide receivers, as well as quarterbacks and running backs, to go on Sunday. Monday, it's defensive linemen and linebackers. Tuesday, the defensive backs. And yet, we'll have to wait until May 8th for the first round of the NFL Draft.